Hello everyone and welcome back. In our previous videos, right, if you've watched them, we learned about web fundamentals, SQL injection, and web application security. Right now, we are going to learn about something every cybersecurity student should know about, which is the OWASP Top 10. Now, when I first heard that word, OWASP Top 10, I thought it was some complicated hacking framework. But after learning about it, I realized it's actually a very useful guide that helps us to understand the most common security problems found in websites and web applications. Now, we're going to break it down as usual in simple language, okay? Now, what is OWASP? OWASP simply stands for Open Worldwide Application Security Project. Open Worldwide Application Security Project. Now that sounds like a big word. Like I always say, these words sound big, yes, but there's always simple explanations to them. Now OWASP is a global community, of security professionals, developers, researchers, and even volunteers who work together to improve software security. Okay, and one of their most famous projects is this OWASP Top 10. So what is OWASP Top 10? This is a list of 10 most critical security risks affecting web applications. Now, think of this list as a most wanted list of website security problems. If you're a developer, it tells you what mistakes to avoid. If you are a cybersecurity professional, it tells you what vulnerabilities to look for. Now let's go through them one by one, okay? Number one is broken access control. Broken access control. Now this happens when a user can access things they should not be able to access in the first place. For example, imagine a student portal. You log in to see your results, right? But by changing a number in the website address, you suddenly gain access to another student's results. This should never happen. The website has failed to control access properly. Now think of it like someone entering a staff-only room because the door wasn't closed or wasn't locked. Yeah. Now, number two is called the cryptographic failures. Cryptographic failures. And this involves poor protection of sensitive information. Examples include passwords stored insecurely, data sent without encryption, and personal information exposed. Let's think of this encryption as putting your valuables, inside a safe. Without encryption, sensitive information is left out in the open. Number three, injection. Injection occurs when an application treats user input as commands. Alright? So a common example is SQL injection. Remember in our previous lesson, right? Yeah. The application trusts user input too much and unexpected instructions reach the database. Remember also what we said the database is, right? Alright? So think of it like giving someone permission to write on a form, but they start changing the rules instead. Number four, insecure design. This happens when security is not considered during the design stage. Imagine building a house without planning where the locks should go. Even if the construction is so good, the design itself is insecure. Now, the same thing can happen with websites. Security must be considered from the beginning. Number 5, security misconfiguration. This happens when systems are set up incorrectly, right? And examples include default passwords, unused services left running, debug settings left enabled. Okay, now think of buying a new router and never changing the default password. Anyone who knows the default password of routers or of that your router, they could easily gain access. Yeah. Number 6, vulnerable and outdated components. Now, many websites, they use third-party softwares and plugins, and if these components they're outdated, attackers may exploit known vulnerabilities. Now, think of driving a car with faulty brakes. Even after a recall notice has been issued, right? The problem is already known, but it has not been fixed. Number 7, identification and authentication failures. Now, this relates to login and identity verification problems. Examples, weak passwords, poor session management, missing multi-factor authentication, right? Imagine a bank allowing customers to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as their password. That creates a serious security risk, right? Mostly when money is involved. Yeah, right. So number 8, software and data integrity failure. Software and data integrity failures. This happens when applications trust software updates or data without verifying them. Imagine downloading an update from an unknown source and installing it without checking whether it is genuine. You're in trouble, right? Yeah, that could introduce malicious software into the system. And sometimes, you try downloading a software and your phone or your systems tell you it's untrusted, right? That's it. Now, number 9, security logging and monitoring failures. This happens when attacks occur but nobody notices. Imagine a store being robbed every night, but there are no security cameras, no security men, and no alarm systems, right? The theft will continue because nobody is aware of it. Now, the same thing can happen on websites if security events are not monitored. Number 10, server-side request forgery. SSRF. Server-side request forgery. SSRF. Now, this is more advanced vulnerability, okay? Simply means an attacker tricks a server into making requests on their behalf. Think of it like, convincing a trusted employee to open a restricted door for you. You get it? Good. So now this attacker uses the server's trust to access resources they should not reach directly. Now, you may be wondering, why should the beginners care about the OWASP top 10, right? Because these vulnerabilities, they appear everywhere. When cybersecurity professionals perform assessments, they often check for OWASP top 10 issues first. You understand, right? Yes. And when developers build websites, they use the OWASP top 10 as guide to avoid common mistakes. And when students they learn web security, the OWASP top 10 provides an excellent roadmap. So now let's quickly recap, okay? The OWASP Top 10 is a list of the most important web application security risks. The 10 categories are broken access control, cryptographic failures, injection, insecure design, security misconfiguration, vulnerable and outdated components, identification and authentication failures, software and data integrity failures, security logging and monitoring failures, server-side request forgery, SSRF. Listen, you do not need to memorize every detail today, just as our teacher always says, okay? As a beginner, your goal is simply to understand what these risks are and why they matter. As we continue in the cybersecurity journey together, we'll encounter these topics again and again. All right? If you remember one thing from this video, remember this: the OWASP Top 10 is like a checklist of the most common and dangerous security mistakes found in web applications. Learning it is one of the best investments a cybersecurity student can make. Thank you for watching this series, and I hope these lessons have helped you. I hope they are helping you to simplify important cybersecurity concepts. Okay, keep learning. Let's learn together. Keep practicing. Let's practice together, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Stay safe online as always. Thank you.